Hi, this is Dave and welcome to the Table, a series of videos where I review and discuss various board and card games, looking at them from a family perspective. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Black Fleet from Space Cowboys. Now, this is a 3 to 4 player game in which you are in control of a fleet of ships and you're trying to gain doubloons to free the governor's daughter and pay her ransom. And how you're going to gain those doubloons is by operating a merchant ship who's going to be going around picking up and delivering goods. You're going to be in control of a pirate ship who's going to go around and try to steal goods from the other merchant ships and bury them as treasure. And then finally, you're going to be in control of a Navy ship that's going to be moving around trying to sink the pirates. So lots of different interaction going on, especially with the Navy, because all of the players get a chance to move them around. So kind of a little twist on your pick up and deliver game. So let's take a look at Black Fleet, how it's played, and I'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, I have Black Fleet set up here on the table for a 3-player game, and I'm going to show you how the game is played and do like a couple rounds of gameplay to get an overall feel for the game. But let's go over the components that come in the game itself. And we have this game board here. It's very, very large, and this is where all the action is going to take place. And I'm going to zoom in and move around so you can see some things that are on the game board. So let's start off with looking down here at the bottom, and there's going to be a number of ports that are here in the game. And as you can see here, this one happens to be purple, and the purple goods are going to be placed there. And you'll also see these little markings here with numbers and circles, and those are going to be the goods that that port is going to buy and the price in doubloons that it's going to be paying. And if we look on the board here, we'll see all these little dotted lines, and these are going to delineate all the different spaces that we can move around. This particular space right here with the little shovel, this is going to come into play here as a beach where pirates will be able to bury treasure in order to gain money. We have a couple of the ships that are already on the table here. We've got the yellow one and the purple one, and those are the Navy ships here. And each of them have their own starting space, and they're already printed right on the game board here. We've got a space here for the yellow one and a space here for the purple one. And there's some various other little markings on the board. There's a couple of spots where there's skull and crossbones, and just gives an overall pirate feel here. So that is the game board here in and of itself. One other thing that I want to make mention of too here, there's a space here and in the corners over here and here that represent distant seas, and they're going to come into play in a little bit. So the other things that the games come with, obviously you see a couple of ships that are already there on the game board, but each player is going to be receiving 2 ships to play as well. One is going to be a merchant ship here, and it's going to have room for 3 pieces of cargo. And there is a pirate ship here that has a cannon on the front, and there's room for 1 piece of cargo in the back. There are metal coins that come in this game, and they represent the currency here. They're the doubloons. We've got gold ones and silver ones here. So the silver ones represent a value of 1, and the gold ones represent 5. And there are 3 different types of cards that come in the game. First ones are going to be these movement cards, and I will go over these in the gameplay, but they're going to determine movement for the ships that are on the board. And there are fortune cards here, which are going to give you different abilities and bonuses throughout the game that can be played. And then finally there's these development cards over here, and I want to focus in on these for a second. And if you look at the layout here, it forms a frieze, and so there's 6 cards that make up this particular scene here. And so the first one here will be flipped at the beginning of the game and will determine the player color. So if we flip this one over here, this player is going to be the white player. And then these are going to be a number of various developments that we can purchase over the course of the game that will be able to give us extra benefits. So this will be the cost in doubloons right here, and as we buy them we can flip them over and they will give us specific abilities. And so we'll be able to look at these over the course of the game And then finally, this one at the end here, this is going to trigger the end game here. And so this one is going to have a cost of 10 doubloons. If you'd like to make the game longer, the game comes with a 20 doubloon card as well. So you can make the game longer if you so like. So those are the components that come in the game. Let me get it set up and I'm going to show you how it's played. At the start of the game, each player is going to be dealt 2 movement cards and 1 fortune card. I'll get to those in just a second. And each player will then reveal the first card in their freeze to determine their player color, and whichever player happens to have the black ship will be the first player. So it happens to be this player over here on the left side of the screen has the black ship, and it also says first player. And so the turn order will go clockwise from there. Each player is going to take their 2 ships and they're going to place the pirate ship in their playing area. It's not on the game board yet. And then they're going to take their merchant ship and they're going to set it at any port that they like, and they're going to load it up with 3 cargo from that particular space. So if you can see here, the black player is down here at the yellow port and it is loaded up. And the white player is over to the side at the red port, and up at the top the gray player is at the blue port. So once we've got that all set up now, we're ready to start playing the game. And gameplay is actually very simple. This is all card driven. And so let's take a look at the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to play a movement card. And so here are the movement cards, and let me explain to you all of what is on here. First of all, in the top line here is going to determine your maximum movement for the Navy ships, and these happen to be for the purple ship. If there's yellow ones for the yellow ship too. And this will say that I can move up to 2 spaces here, up to 3 spaces here. This middle row here is going to be for the movement of the pirate ship, and the bottom is going to be for the merchant ship. And then down at the bottom here is some text that is going to pertain to the fortune cards. Some cards will allow us at the end of our turn to draw one, and there's other ones that will make us discard cards. There's some that will allow us to draw 2 fortune cards, and there's some that won't have any text on them at all at the bottom. And so it's all going to be related to the overall movement of the ships, and so it's going to, so that it keeps the cards balanced, so one type of card is not overpowered than another. So to get started here, I think we're going to play this card right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move each of these 3 ships up to a specific amount of spaces that are going to be listed here. So I can move up to 6 spaces with my merchant ship. Now I can move these in any order that I want. So I'm going to place this card right here next to this, essentially in the discard pile, and I'm going to move my ship. So the first thing I'm going to choose to do is I'm going to move my merchant ship up to 6 spaces. So what I'm going to do is I'll flip them around here and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. So I have moved him maximum number of spaces. Now I can, if I'm able to, would be to take an action, and the action for the merchant ship is to sell their goods. But unfortunately, I'm not at a port. But I will be soon enough, and I will be able to sell goods, and then I'll be able to reload. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my pirate ship. And my pirate ship is going to be able to move 3 spaces. And how this works with the pirate ship is that it is going to be able to enter from any of the 3 spaces on the side that are called the distant seas. So I think what I'm going to do is have my pirate come in over here in this lower corner, and I'll have him move 3 spaces. So I'll go 1, 2, 3 right there. Whoops, 3 spaces here. And that will end his movement. And finally, I will be able to move the purple Navy ship 2 spaces, 1, 2. And that's going to end all of my movements here. At the end of my turn, what I'm going to do is I am going to draw a new movement card to bring me back up to 2, and I will be able to draw a fortune card here. Now, one thing that I want to talk about with fortune cards is that we are only allowed to have 3 of them in our hand, and we are able to play these on our turn if I wanted to give specific ships or something an additional ability. Now that I've done my my movements on these first 3 ships, I want to talk about what each of these roles of these ships are. And obviously the merchant ship's job is to deliver the goods, and so we would be able to sell them and get doubloons in order to pay for these upgrade cards here and essentially get to victory. And then the pirate ship's job is to attack the merchant ships and steal goods from them. And then they're going to be able to move around to some of these beach areas and use their action to bury them as treasure. And then finally the Navy ships out here, their job is to sink the pirate ships. And so we're going to experience a little bit of that in the gameplay, but that's essentially what the whole relationship with these cards is all about. So next we're going to move over to the gray player's turn here, and we'll look and see what their cards have here. And let's see where we're at. I think that we're going to play this one right here for my movement. And so the gray player is going to be able to move their merchant ship 5 spaces, and so we want to try and get to a port that's going to be buying goods of that color, so maybe we'll try and shoot for down here. So we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, and next I'll be able to move my pirate ship 5 spaces, and so I will have my pirate ship come in over here along the same spot as the black one, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of put a little pressure on the white player over there. And finally I'll be able to move the Navy ship 2 spaces. Here the yellow one, so I'll go 1, 2. And that will take care of the movement here, not taking any actions. There's no text allowing me to play, to draw any additional cards here, and I'm choosing not to play a fortune card as we speak. So that's going to end my turn here. So what I'm going to do is draw a new movement card to bring me up to speed here. And now finally we will get over to the white player here, and we'll look at our movement here. And let's see, what do we want to do here? We have this is one of those fortune cards here, and this is kind of neat. I can choose which value of my movement card is allocated to which ship, so I could change things around if I wanted to. I can change this and maybe make the naval ship move more, which would be kind of crazy. So, but I'm going to hold off on that for right now. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this card right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this one. It's going to allow the purple ship to move 2 spaces. So we'll go 1, 2 over there. And we will move our merchant ship 4 spaces. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to bring the pirate ship in on the other side over here and move 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that has been the first round here. I'm just going to draw another movement card here, and it will be back to the black player. So you can see now we've got all of the ships are on the board, and we are moving around. So let's see what we're going to do here. I think I'm going to play this one just to be able to get me a nice amount of distance. So we'll play that card there. That's going to give me, my merchant ship is going to be able to move 6 spaces. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up there. And pirate ship is going to be able to move 4 spaces. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And the the purple naval ship is going to move 2 spaces. 1, 2. So we'll kind of plan on trying to close in on that white pirate ship over there. let me see if there's any additional cards that I want to do. And I think I'm going to choose to play this Naval Wind card here to move this Navy ship up the 2 extra spaces. So check this out. I'm going to do that, and he's going to go 1, 2. And what I'm going to do now is use this ship's action here, this Navy ship, and I'm going to attack this pirate ship here. And so what I will do is essentially I'm going to shoot it and sink it. And so this will go back to the appropriate player there. And now the black player will gain 2 doubloons for sinking that pirate ship. And so the pirate ship is not gone, it's just going to have to wait now on the next turn. It's going to be able to come back in. So that is one of the combat actions that's going to happen here with moving with the Navy and the pirate ships. So that is the action for the black player. We'll draw another movement card here, and we'll move on to the gray player. Gray player is going to play, let's take a look here. We'll play this one. And this is going to give me some good movement here, and I'll be able to draw a card at the end of my turn. So move the purple naval ship here, 1, 2, in that space, so kind of hopefully will prevent somebody from wanting to come in. And I'm going to move my merchant ship 5 spaces. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here, and be able to move my pirate ship 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And I don't have a good fortune card there, so at the end of my turn, I'm going to draw a movement card here to bring me back up to 2, and I will draw a fortune card from this here. And then finally, back to the white player again, and I'm going to work to get get my pirate back on the board here. So I'm going to play this one here, and I'm going to be able to move the yellow pirate ship, or the yellow naval ship 2 spaces. So 1, 2, and I'll be able to move my pirate ship 4 spaces. So I'm going to come back in here. I think, nope, I'm not going to come back in over here. This would be bad because I can probably get attacked right on the next turn. So I'm going to come over on this side over here, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Move the pirate ship over there. And finally going to move my merchant ship 5 spaces. And so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to go around that way. Don't have a good card that I want to play here, so at the end I'll draw a movement card and a fortune card from the movement card. So now you've seen 2 rounds of how this game is going to play. And let me show you a couple different things now that is going to happen. What's going to happen here is over the course of the game now here we'll be able to play movements up to be able to get our ships into a different port. And for our actions, what we'll do is we'll be able to sell our goods. For example, here, this one, they're buying the blue goods at 3 doubloons apiece. So if I were to reach this here, I would empty out my ship and put these back at the port where it started from to keep the blue cubes there. I would receive 9 doubloons for my delivery, so I'll put that over in here, and I would load up with 3 cargo of that port. So that's all in one action, basically selling and picking up. So that's going to be one type of action there. Another one is if the pirate ship, over the course of the game, they were able to move into one space adjacent to an opponent, they can use their action to attack the merchant ship. And if they did, they would be able to steal one of their goods from that ship, and they would gain 2 doubloons for their work of doing that. So that's how the pirate works. So you saw how the Navy ship worked before sinking the pirate ship. The pirate ship then can attack the merchant ships. Now, the next thing that it can do when it's full is it can move into a space that is a beach, and for one action it would be able to bury it and get doubloons for that. So for example, if it ended up here, this is 4 doubloons for one action. This would come off and go back to that particular port, and they would receive 4 doubloons for their work there too. So that's going to be one of the actions that you're going to be generating money. Now, one of the things that's kind of interesting is that if a merchant ship, if there's a bunch of pirates attacking it, if it draws the last cube off of the ship, the merchant ship will sink, and on its next turn it will have to start down at a port and start all over again. So you can kind of see how sometimes players can gang up on one another, and you can really kind of pin them down. So that's the different types of actions and how the interaction is going to be on the game board. And then finally, what are you going to do with all these doubloons? Well, we're going to use these doubloons to start paying for these different development cards here, and we can choose to purchase these in any order. Just we can't flip this one until the end. This is going to trigger the end of the game, so the first person to do this is going to win. But each one of these is going to give us different abilities. So if we look here, here's one that's 5, and this is Secret Plans. It says, when your pirate attacks a merchant, gain 4 doubloons instead of 2. So this is really powerful if you're going to be aggressively going after merchant ships. However, once that plan is revealed, some of the other players are going to be making sure that the Navy ships are coming after your pirates. So beware of that. You may have the option here. This was another one. Here's a trade agreement that all deliveries give you 3 doubloons per good, and you can only deliver goods in ports that accept them. Well, some of these ports are only paying 2 doubloons for your goods, and so you're going to be able to get more money for them. You have something here with the weather, that if you play no fortune cards during your turn, draw an extra one. If you play 2 or more fortune cards during your turn, gain 2 extra doubloons. So there's different developments that are going to come through that are going to enhance the gameplay, and each player is going to have different ones. So they're randomly selected, and there's extra ones that are for more than there are players. So the gameplay, you never know what you're going to have. So anyways, what you do if you choose to purchase one of these cards, essentially, you just towards the end of your turn, you just pay the cost and flip a card over. So I'm going to pay that one for 5 doubloons right here, and I'm going to flip it over and get these Secret Plans. So that's going to give me now this advantage. And so other players are going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be moving their ships around the board, trying to make it to these various ports and selling goods, dropping them off, using their pirate ships to attack merchants, steal them, and go and bury them on the islands, and then also using these Navy ships to go and sink the pirates. So, and all the meanwhile using fortune cards to manipulate situations and give advantages from time to time. And that is how you play Trade Fleet. Alright, let's talk about Black Fleet here, and this one was published by Space Cowboys. And interesting note that one of the guys who's on the team from Space Cowboys was also the designer, one of the designers for Jamaica, which is another pirate-themed game. So we're kind of following along the same vein with another pirated-themed game. However, this was designed by another Sebastian, so a different guy designed this game. Let's start off with talking about the production value for this game. We look at the artwork on here. This artwork is really, really nice. I love the cartoony design on this particular box. And then when you open it up, you have the insert is shaped like a skull and crossbones. To me, that's really, really cool, and something that just kind of goes above and beyond in terms of production value. And then you get into the components themselves. We've got this beautiful, very large game board that has a lot of bright colors in it, and it makes it very, very inviting and screams, "Play me." However, this is going to take up some room, so you're going to have to be mindful of that when you're choosing a spot to break this one out. I had to bring up a larger table into my study to put this on, because the table that I normally use, the board was just as wide as it. So it's very, very, it's a large-sized game board, so it's going to take up a bit of space, so be mindful of that. You've got these awesomely sculpted ships, so you've got pirate ships, you've got merchant ships, you've got Navy ships, and so they all look good on the game board, and the spaces are plenty large enough for them to to move around, and it doesn't really look like it's cramped. We've got these really nice metal coins that have come in the game, and you've heard me talk about metal coins in one of my other video reviews. I really like that. They look good, they feel good, they sound good when you clank them together. And cards, you've got really, really awesome card artwork here. They're nice and durable. And so overall, you've got this tremendous amount of high quality components and production value right from the get-go when you get this game. Now, when you get into the game, it's going to deliver for you. Now, this is a pick up and deliver game. This is a lighter game. So this is going to be more along the lines of appealing to families and those who are enjoying a lighter game. If you are a person who is looking for a deeply strategic game that is going to be very, very tactical and really stretch your brain to think, then Black Fleet is not going to be a game for you. If you're looking for something that's lighter in play, but there's enough strategy to keep you involved, then Black Fleet is going to appeal to you. It's a pick up and deliver game, meaning you're going to pick up some stuff and you're going to take it somewhere else. However, this throws a twist in there because now you are using you're using these pirate ships to move around the game board, and you have these Navy ships that are in there. So you're not just worried about one particular thing or one person playing the merchant, one person playing the pirate, where you're controlling all three. So you're controlling two of your own ships, and then you have that community ship there with those Navy ships. And so that having other players being able to move it is going to factor in some of your strategy. So it's going to change from turn to turn, and so you're going to have to somewhat plan ahead and anticipate that other players are going to try and thwart your plans. So that's going to kind of come into how you manage your resources because and how you manage your hand, because are you willing to sacrifice getting some of your some additional cards in order to gain more movement? Are you willing to accelerate a whole lot of movement at the risk of discarding cards? So you have some decisions that are going to come into the gameplay there. A couple other things that I like about this game is that the things change from game to game. Excuse me. From on the development card standpoint, because these are not all the same. And so at the beginning of the game, you're going to shuffle these up and deal them out to each player. So you're not really sure what you're going to have in front of you. And you can look at them, and so you can kind of plan how you're going to want to reveal them, but it's going to increase the replayability of this game. So it's not always the same thing like, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and I know I'm going to have this happen. So lots of different combinations are going to occur through these development cards. And the nice thing is that you don't have to do them in order. They look great when you start the game. They have that nice little frieze that has just a little panoramic art picture there, but then you can choose the order of which you're going to reveal them, except for the last one. The last one will trigger the end of the game. So you have some nice things that were written in the rules that are going to enhance this gameplay. So Black Fleet is something that I really enjoy. This one, a lot of times I like a lighter game. This is one that definitely I can play with my kids. We've played this one. It's a lot of fun and provides a lot of entertainment. I've had them playing as young as 8 years old on this one, and so they're able to figure out a lot of the concepts. They're not grasping quite a lot of the strategies that an adult can, but this is going to definitely be something that they can play. Now, looking at this game from a family perspective, this is going to primarily be, number one, good family fun, where everybody can get together and they're spending quality time around the table and spending about an hour playing this game. A couple of other things that this game is going to do is it's going to make you have to think from turn to turn and adapt to constantly changing situations. You can't always anticipate what your moves are going to be, especially when it comes to these Navy ships, because another player is going to move them around, and so you may think that you're going to do something, and the next turn you're not. So you're really going to have to think about that. You're also going to have to be mindful in your mind of risk versus reward, because the longer or where you're moving around on the game board trying to deliver your goods, the payoff is going to be very good if you're going through a lot of high traffic areas where you run the risk of being attacked. So is it worth you trying to go for the big payoff and risk having goods stolen from you? Or are you going to change your strategy and just go for, let me get quickly to the, safely to the nearest port and sell my goods as quick as I can? So you've got some decisions that are going to have to be made in this game, and that's one of the things that comes through on this. And then also, are you willing to put your pirate ship at risk to try and steal goods, and by putting yourself in close proximity to the Navy ships? So there's some things that you're going to have to weigh the options of risk versus reward, and so I really like that element in this game, and so to me that kind of stands out as a driving factor, and this is one of the lessons that this game presents. So overall, this is a nice light game that has strategy in here to be able to play, and everybody can enjoy it. It's got beautiful artwork, beautiful components. I highly recommend this one. This is definitely one that you're going to want to add to your library, especially if you're newer to the hobby and you're looking for something that's going to get you a little more into the fold, and playing something that's going to give you a little bit more meat and more enjoyment. Definitely want to look at Black Fleet. So, all right, that's it for now, and join me again next time as we take a look at another game and we see how it makes it to the table.